How did you get sponsored by Live Fit? Well, if you don't like something, then change it. Change it. As a guy, what are some tips for working out with your girlfriend? How do you deal with a binge and what do you do after a binge? Okay, that's a very good question. Yeah, that is real because people are mean. Wow. Okay. What's up, guys? Reporting to you not live from my bedroom using my ring light for the first time. This thing is hella bright, just saying. Like, would it be, wait. I knew I had sunglasses somewhere. You know what? Would this be weird? Would this be weird? You can see the ring light in my eyes, like, hello. Hello, YouTube. Okay, seriously though, guys, what's going on? This thing is so bright. Okay, we're doing a Q&A today. I posted on my Snapchat, thanks to all my Snapchat fam for tuning into my channel, that I wanted to do my first Q&A with you guys. And that's gonna be right now. We're gonna do it right now. So, I know I look like a little bit of a scrub, but for, like, in my defense, I did look like this yesterday, and I was gonna do that again, but then I realized that that's a lot of work and a lot of pretending that those eyelashes don't bug the shit out of me. So I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. So here we are. All right, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now. I have 100 Snapchats that I need to go through, you guys. 100. Oh, first I wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers and welcome to my channel. I'm super stoked to see that I have so many new subscribers after my 10,000 calorie challenge. And I'm glad that you guys liked that video. So thank you for joining me and I hope that you guys stay for a while. Okay guys, so let's just jump right into it. Do you count macros, intuitive eat, or follow a meal plan? I count macros loosely right now. I have been intuitive eating basically since I ended my show in March of last year. I basically kind of loosely tracked, but mostly intuitive ate. And now that I am wanting to dial my physique in, I am tracking macros again. Again, it's not like to the absolute gram because I'm not competing and I don't want to live such a like strict extreme lifestyle. But I am ready to dial it in now, change my ways, count macros, but I do like to eat a lot of the same foods every day, so I guess that you could say that's also kind of a meal plan. So I do a bit of both. Am I going to move to LA? I know that that is a big question for a lot of people. They're like, do you live in Canada? Do you live in LA? Are you Canadian? Why do you go to LA so much? The answer is that is the goal. The goal is to live there permanently. My boyfriend lives there and a lot of my best friends are there. My work is there, my sponsors are there, and my heart is there. So that is the goal and I am working on it. What protein and other supplements do you use? I use NLA for Her because I am sponsored by them, but I was actually using the brand for 2 years prior to getting sponsored by them. How I got sponsored by them was basically like I started using the supplements and I started to love them, and then I built a relationship with them, and I would email back and forth with the co-founder and he would eventually start sending me some product for free because he knew that like I loved it so much and we started to build a relationship. So after that, he decided to give me a discount code for my clients to use. So then I had a discount code to be like, hey, these are the supplements that I love, so if you want to use the same ones. And then I started getting commission. So I kind of just like built a relationship with them and it went like that. And then eventually they sent me out to the Arnold Expo in 2015. And it was kind of like a trial run to see how we meshed in person, see how the other girls liked me, and then I got sponsored. So I do use NLA for Her. Yes, I am sponsored by them, but I have actually loved and believed in the products for a very long time and used them for a while before I got sponsored. So that is what I use. I use the whole brand. How old am I? I am 24 years old and I'm going to be 25 on April 2nd. And I'm gonna have a midlife crisis then. My heart just started racing. I know that it's not very old, but it's halfway to 30 and I'm 25. Like, I didn't think that this day would ever come. So I'm gonna be 25 soon, and that's kind of freaky. Top 3 genres, artists, and music that you have to listen to at the gym. I like to listen to house music, like EDM music, but I like it to have lyrics instead of just the beat. So like Calvin Harris is good, Vici and stuff like that. I actually use Fit Radio app, and I always just put it on the house music playlist, and there's so many good songs on there. Sometimes I'll be in the mood for R&B during my workout, but not usually. How do you deal with a binge, and what do you do after a binge? Okay, that's a very good question. I've actually been wanting to make a YouTube series about my experience with binge eating, but I don't really know how to address the topic. I don't want to offend anybody, and I'm not a professional in this field. I can just talk from my experience. So for a couple of reasons, I'm weary of making the series, but I do want to talk to you guys about it. I did suffer with binge eating for 2 years, 2.5 years, and it was the darkest times of my life. Sorry, I just don't know how to address it. On top of the loss and the stress of having my dad in and out of the hospital and the hospice, and then having him eventually pass away and dealing with the loss of him, and a mixture of being super, super restricted with my competition diet back then, I just basically turned to food as a way of coping with life, and I took it to a very bad extreme, and I would be binging and purging 3 times a day, 6 days a week. Maybe there would be one day that I wouldn't, and it was really hard. Some of the darkest times of my life. So what I can say from my experience is there is hope. You can change. I have actually been binge free for pretty much a year now. I think it's just gone over a year. Yeah, because I think I did it once last year, which was huge for me. I was super excited when I noticed that. So you can change. There is hope. And trust me, I've gone to Overeaters Anonymous meetings. I've thought that I needed to go see an actual therapist. I actually thought that I was crazy. I just felt like I had no control over myself and the food that I was eating. And I would literally drive around at 10, 11 o'clock at night and go to the grocery stores and eat multiple jars of cookie butter, peanut butter, ice cream in my car, donuts from Tim Hortons. I used to do that stuff. I used to eat a whole box of Quest bars at once. It was bad. So trust me, I know how you feel. There is hope. You just have to decide to change. No matter the amount of help that I got from the outside, it only helped so much for me being able to open up to others around me and talk about my problem and recognize that this was a problem. I knew that I wanted to change, but it came down to me actually wanting to change and physically putting a stop to it. Nobody else could do it for you. So how do you deal with it? Day after day, I eventually got into the habit, and this was the best thing that I could have done, not restricting myself so much. Yes, okay, I binged, and last night it was bad, but I'm not going to restrict myself of my oatmeal in the morning and my apple that I really like to eat, that I look forward to. And I'm not going to completely restrict myself so that I am so hungry, because then there is a chance of it happening again. So what you need to do is just dust your shoulders off and learn from your mistakes and think about the things what was I thinking during that binge? What was I thinking before that binge? What could have potentially brought it on? How do I feel right now after this binge? How did I feel a couple days ago before the binge came on? Probably great. So you just need to think about all those things and evaluate why it happened. Learn from your mistakes. Say, okay, I'm not going to stress about the past. What's done is done. I can't there's no point in stressing over it anymore, because it's done. like it's in the past. All you can do is do better moving forward. So don't restrict yourself. Don't do like hours of cardio. Just make sure that you just get back right to your regular routine and do your best moving forward. That is my advice. Try to not beat yourself up over it and just get back to making yourself feel good. Comment down below if you guys want me to elaborate on these topics. How long has it been since your dad passed away? I didn't think I would get that question. He passed away December 16th, 2013. So right at Christmas time. Yeah. I can't believe that much time has passed. That's crazy. So 2013, 14, 15, 16. Like almost 4 years. Feels like yesterday. Wow. How much cardio do you do for maintaining and for cutting? Okay, that's a really good question. For myself, I have a sedentary job, so unless it's like summertime out and I'm wearing my Fitbit, I'm trying to get my steps in, I'm sitting most of the day. So the only cardio that I do get is when I'm at the gym, when I'm sitting. When I'm at the gym doing cardio. So I believe in keeping 20 minutes, like minimum 20 to 30 minutes in regularly. And I'm not saying that you're doing like full out hit and stuff like that. Like even steady state just to get a good sweat and just to get some cardio in is awesome. Depends on your job as well, like if you're super active or not. So 20 to 30 minutes for like maintaining. And when I'm cutting, I'll add in more hits. So I'll add in like 3 hit cardio sessions a week. And I actually like to bring it up to 40, 45 minutes when I'm cutting, sometimes even an hour. If I'm like watching YouTube videos, like I said, it's winter here right now, so the only cardio that I do get in is when I'm doing it. I'll do like 40 to 60 minutes when I'm trying to cut. That's just me. Because I do sit most of the day. It's different for everybody on your activity level, everything like that. But yeah, to answer your question, 40 to 60 when I'm cutting and 20 to 30 when I'm maintaining. Do you and your boyfriend plan to get married someday? Do you guys have those conversations with each other? Yes, we actually do have those conversations with each other. And I think it's really important when you're like 25 and over, you know, you're thinking about your future, you're trying to plan your life, and these are things that we need to think about. So if you don't see yourself marrying this person and you've been with them for quite a long time, then I'm sorry, but you need to get out of that relationship because you're wasting time. You're wasting his time, you're wasting her time, whatever. You're wasting time, and wasted time is worse than wasted money. So if you don't see that with the person that you're with, like there's a problem. But yes, I do want to marry my boyfriend. I would love to marry him, and we do talk about that, and it's not gonna be for the next couple years, like until we both get situated in our careers to a place that we are comfortable, because he wants to get married like quite soon after the engagement, and I'm totally fine with being engaged for like 2 years, but I guess that's like a big no-no. So yes, we do. Oh, that's a cute question. Are your eyebrows microbladed? No, they aren't. They are tattooed, but they are not microbladed. They are called 3D permanent tattoos. I think that's it. And a girl named Lily Ma did it in Calgary, and she's absolutely amazing. She individually did every single eyebrow stroke of hair freehand. Every single one of them. She's incredible. And I'm getting a touch-up March 10th, and I'm super excited. So you guys will see that. They've just kind of faded, and they've shrunk as well. So I'm going to get them thicker and darker. Yes, you guys are going to love them. You're going to love them. Trust me, they're going to look good. And they're $500, best investment I ever made. Before entering the fitness industry, what did you see yourself doing as a career? Well, I actually used to want to be an obstetrician, which is a doctor that delivers babies. And then I realized that if the baby died, I wouldn't want to be held accountable by a mom, or just like, even if it wasn't my fault and they thought it was my fault, like I wouldn't want that on my hands, and I wouldn't want to be able to tell that person that. Like, I think it'd be so cool to bring babies into the world and like life into the world, and that's just like an amazing job to me. But I was thinking about the negatives sides of it, and I was just like, okay, I don't want to do that. So then I used to want to be a lawyer because I was like, I can pretty much win any debate that I do, like, because I'm always right. But then I was like, I don't want to have to defend or be surrounded by the sickos in the world that are just like messed up. So then I wanted to be in oil and gas, and I went to school for petroleum land administration. I used to think that it's because oil and gas is like a booming, or was a very booming industry in Canada, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to be a business lady with a suitcase and everything like that, and wear heels and like a suit to work. But then I started getting into fitness, and I was like, it was when my dad got sick too. I was like, life is way too short to do anything less than what you love. And I was falling into love and falling in love with fitness. And so I was like, how can I make a career out of something that I love? And that was what ultimately led me to getting certified and becoming a coach and like competing and just getting more involved with the fitness industry. So that's kind of my story. How did I know that fitness would be the career that I chose, and was I scared and nervous to pursue it more serious? Why can't I? How did you know that fitness would be what you would choose, and were you scared or nervous to pursue it more seriously? No, I wasn't scared or nervous. I was thrilled to be pursuing something that I loved, and I just chased after it full-heartedly. Like I just did it, and I was super stoked because I loved it so much. And I was like, I can make a career out of something that I love. I wasn't scared or nervous at all. I don't get intimidated very easily. How did you get sponsored by LiveFit? Well, it was actually the Arnold in like 2014 or 15 that I went to with NLA for Her. I actually met Randall there. I met them in person. We knew who each other were over Instagram and stuff like that, but we met in person at that expo, and it was then that we became friends. And then after we became friends, like I would buy some LiveFit stuff. Sometimes he would send me some stuff, and we went back and forth for a little bit. And then in December of 2015, he reached out to me and he was like, hey, I really like your look. I really like what you're about. I'm looking for some brand ambassadors. Like, would you be interested? And then I was like, hell yeah. Like, I'd love to support you and your brand, because he was a friend. I love what they stood for, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. So I was like, yeah, I'm actually coming to LA in January, because I actually lived there from January until June of last year. So he's like, great, let's do a photo shoot. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So our first photo shoot went extremely well, and he was super happy with the photos. Like, I got along great with the whole team, the photographer, Miguel. Like, we just had an awesome time. And Randall was like, okay, yeah, like I either want you as a brand ambassador or an athlete. He popped that A word on me, and I was like, homie, you want me as an athlete. Just saying. I actually did say that to him. And he's like, I was making jokes with him. I'm like, that looks like a really good athlete, doesn't it? And I think that that's just how you got to be, because I was really persistent with NLA for Her. I actually sent them like 3 athlete resumes before I got brought on the team and stuff like that too. So you just have to be persistent with what you want and go after it. And I was like, that looks like a good athlete. Hey, like, oh, making jokes like that. And then a couple weeks later or days later, he reached out to me and he's like, I would love to have you on the team as an athlete. And I was like, yes! I screamed so loud. And I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. This is freaking awesome. So that is how I got sponsored by LiveFit. How do I stay so positive all the time? That is such a nice question. Because I like to see the good in the world. And if you're negative and pessimistic, it's so draining to you. Like, it's so much harder to be that way, like to be negative, and it's just, it takes a lot of work to be that negative. And I like to see the best in people and think that the world is a beautiful place. And I know that I have so much to be grateful for. And I want to live my dreams. And every single day that I wake up, I have an opportunity to work hard and bring myself one step closer. And I know everything that I desire and dream of, I can have. Like, I know that because I know that I'm willing to work for it. And that motivates me, and that makes me happy to see my hard work being paid off. And that alone, like, I have so much to be grateful for. And I like to see the good in everything. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I can get upset too, and I can be in negative moods, but they don't last long, and they're not very often. So how do I stay positive? I like to see the good in everything, and I like to create a life that I love. That's huge. I love to create a life that I love, because life is freaking short. And why spend one more day doing something that you hate or being unhappy? Like, if you don't like something, then change it. Change it. Build a life that you love. Then you'll be positive. And a positive attitude takes you so much further than a negative one does. So I know the power of positivity. I know the power of positivity. So that's how I stay positive. Thanks for asking that. Can you give some tips on dealing with weight gain, or when you're in a bulk and you see the scale go up, especially when dealing with comments like you've gotten bigger? Yeah, that is real, because people are mean. Who would go up to somebody and say, you've gotten bigger? Like, that is just so rude. But how do you deal with weight gain? Okay, so here's a picture of me at my leanest. And I obviously don't look like that anymore. So I think that the best way to deal with weight gain is to know that it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, okay, yeah, you can look competition lean. Yes, but you need to know that that is not easy to maintain, nor should you want to maintain it. Like, it's not a maintainable physique. You have to work bloody freaking hard and do a lot of cardio to get that lean. And is that something that you want to do every single day? Is that healthy? No. Like, eating very little carbs and doing extreme amounts of cardio is not healthy. So how do you deal with the weight gain? Just knowing that it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, the weight gain that I have gained has led to better digestion, even though it still sucks, more energy, that's for sure, less brain fog and like sharper thinking, mental clarity, getting your period back, because when you get that lean, sometimes women lose their menstrual cycle, which is like not very good. So knowing that you're going to get that back and like get your body back to homeostasis is huge. And that's very important for longevity of your life. Like, you want to live. So just knowing that weight gain is not necessarily a bad thing. And you know that you need to gain like the necessary amount of body fat, or like you're going to gain a little bit of weight when you're trying to change your physique, because you can't really build muscle or change it when you are in a deficit. So just recognizing that weight gain is not necessarily a bad thing, and loving your body in all shapes, sizes, and seasons. Self-love is so important. And before I had that, like when I had trouble with self-love, I did body shame myself a lot, and I was like, your abs look like shit, you look like shit, your face is chubby, what are these cheeks? Like, oh my God. But that was because I was lacking on self-love. And when I really focused on loving myself, I was able to deal with a little bit of weight gain. I was able to see it in a positive light. I was able to see or change my perspective that I was beautiful. And a little bit of weight gain and not having super shredded abs didn't define me as a person. Recognizing that you are more than your physique and that you have more to offer the world. And hell, man, that having mental clarity and less brain fog, even though I still can't talk, having less brain fog on its own was like so worth it, because when you're in the depths of dieting, that kills you. And I was forgetting so much stuff. It was really hard for me to run my business and take care of my clients when I was super dieted down, and I couldn't think clearly, and I was just like a vegetable. I was like, help me, life. I'm trying to hold on, but it's hard. And now I'm like, hell yeah, come at me. So weight gain's not necessarily a bad thing, and don't give a shit about what these people say to you. If they're talking to you like that, they are not your friend. And if they are, if your friend was like, hey, you've gained a little bit of weight, like maybe you should do some cardio, like if she's telling you that out of love, then that's fine. But if this person is saying like you look bigger, you don't want that person in your life. And why would you determine your self-worth on what a freaking stranger thinks of you? Like, you don't even know that person. What is it to you that they, like, what? Just delete it and move on with your day. Focus on your self-love. That's how you deal with it. Best tip for not binging during prep. By the way, you're the best. You're the best. Not binging during prep. I don't like to use the word binging very lightly, because there's a difference between eating a lot and just feeling absolutely starving and eating until you're full, and then a full out binge where you eat like thousands of calories. So we'll just keep it simple though. Best tip for not binging, making very voluminous dishes. I loved to use like the spiraler for making zucchini noodles and making like vegetable stir fries and using like a lot of lettuce to make like salads the size of my head and all that good stuff. Like vegetables, volume. Try to eliminate the treats and like the really calorie dense foods, because you want your macros to go further. And when you're fuller, like you're just happier, right? So make sure that you do volume foods. Cucumber, stevia, and cinnamon, I swear by that. Like I still eat it even if I'm not in prep. When I'm craving something sweet, I really like that too. So volume. Would I recommend my heart rate monitor? I use a Polar A300, and yes, I would recommend it because Polar is absolutely amazing. What makes a heart rate monitor extremely active is this chest band that you're going to wear like right on your heart, like right underneath your boobs, like right underneath your chest. And what you're going to do is you're going to put this on it, and it clips right on. You wear this during your cardio, and it tells you what your heart rate is, and then it tells you how many calories you've burnt. This makes it extremely accurate. I have had Fitbit, like I've had a Fitbit charge that like shows your heart rate and stuff on there, and yeah, it kind of syncs to your body after wearing it for a little while. Same with like the Apple Watch and stuff like that, but it won't be as accurate as something like this will. It just won't. This I find to be extremely accurate, and yes, I would recommend it. Do I ever want kids? And if so, what age would be hopeful to start a family? Yes, I do want kids. I want at least 2, maybe 3. And I used to think that I wanted them at like 26, but that sure as hell is not gonna happen. So I'll say that hopefully I start having kids around like 29, after I travel a bit, after I build my career up more and feel financially stable and feel like I have seen enough of the world to settle down and start making babies. So yes, I do want kids. Do you recommend fasted cardio? Personally, I love fasted cardio because I like to do my cardio as soon as I wake up. I like to just get it out of the way because there's no food in my stomach and I'm able to give it everything that I have. I'm able to run faster and just move easier and just feel like I'm not being weighed down. And then the second reason is that when I go to the gym for the weights, I'm in the gym for like 45 to 60 minutes tops. Like I can get in and out of the gym from weights in like 45 minutes, like I said. So I like it because I can move easier, run faster, get it out of the way, and my weightlifting sessions are shorter. Plus, I personally have seen a difference in my physique from it. I believe that it works. I haven't seen as good of results when I don't do fasted cardio opposed to like after weight training. So I love it. Yeah, I do believe in it. I know a lot of people will say it doesn't work, but I love it. What body fat percentage do you have to be at for abs? That is a very good question. Abs and your body fat percentage look different on absolutely everybody. So I can't really say what body fat percentage you need to be at. Like if I was going to give you a rough estimate, I would say that girls can see abs from like 15% and lower. But then again, like body fat percentage is different on absolutely everybody. Abs are a result of low body fat though, so if you don't see them yet, then just like keep your diet on point because abs are made in the kitchen, guys. You cannot out-train a bad diet. So make sure that your nutrition is on point, do the necessary amounts of cardio, and just stay consistent. Maybe you don't genetically have abs. Like I know that a lot of people don't actually have the blocky abs. That's okay. You can still train and attain a level of leanness that you do see some like nice obliques and stuff like that. So everybody's core is different and everybody's body fat percentage is different, but abs are a result of low body fat. So like I said, just make sure that your diet's on point. And if I had to give a rough estimate, that's what it would be. As a guy, what are some tips for working out with your girlfriend? I would say make sure that she's trying her hardest and be there for her to spot her, but don't be like, you can lift heavier, you can lift heavier. Like if she's actually struggling and doing her best, even if you think that she can do more, don't say you can go heavier. Like be courteous and thoughtful and aware of how you're making somebody feel and don't degrade her or like cut her down. Just make sure that you're there for her and make sure that you spot her and encourage her and tell her that she's doing a great job. And I would say make sure that you keep the chit chat to a minimum to make sure that you guys both get a good workout. And that's about it. Yeah. If you guys got more tips, then leave them down below. How did you and your boyfriend meet? That's a good question. Me and my boyfriend met actually, like I've known him since I was 16 years old. Holy crap, that's like 8 years. Or that's a really long time. Okay, so I met him when I was 16 years old. I used to work at Cactus Club, which is like a restaurant lounge. That is how I met him, and I remember seeing him come in all the time, and I was just like, wow, like he is beautiful. This guy is gorgeous. And I had like a little crush on him. I was like 16. He is a couple years older than me, so yeah, that's how we met. And then when I became legal, when I was 18, I started working at a lounge downtown. And I think that he came in a couple times like throughout the years. I worked there from when I was 18 to when I was 21. And 21 or 22. And I would say when I was like 20, he came in and he got my number and we would text like every now and then. He would send me like these little jokes and like these little memes of like Kanye and stuff like that. And I was like, haha, haha. Okay. And then one time he came in and he said, you should grab a drink with me when you get off work. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Sounds good. So I had a drink with him and his friends, and then like a couple weeks later, he asked me to go out for lunch. And then we went out for lunch and it went great. And we went like on a couple dates, and then we disconnected for a year. And then he actually asked me to go on another date exactly a year later. So it was like pretty much exactly a year later too. So the next time around that we reconnected the following year, we became inseparable ever since. So that is how I met my boyfriend back in the day, super young, at my old job. And then we just like stayed in touch over the years, and now we're here. 2.5 years, so. All right, guys. So I think that is all that I'm going to take for today. I do have so many more questions, and if you guys want a part 2 of this Q&A, then give this video a thumbs up because there is a lot more questions to be asked, and I think that this is already at like 25-30 minutes. So if you guys have watched this whole vlog, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm really stoked to have you guys here. You have no idea. I have so much planned for my channel for the upcoming year. I'm going to be putting a lot of work into it, so I hope that you guys enjoy it. Please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you did like it, and hit that subscribe button. I will catch you guys in the next vlog. I can't even talk. English is my first language. Yes, it is. But did you know that? No.